This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have a Frigidaire oven that isn't heating up, and sometimes, most often, it's a bad igniter. In this case, the controller that sends energy down to the igniter is not sending the power due to a faulty relay, so we're going to be replacing the controller. So we're going to pull it away from the wall, unplug it. We're going to use a 1/4-inch driver to take out a series of screws on the back panel. I think there were 6 of them, and then once we get the screws out, we can just pull this back panel off and we can easily get to the controller. One way you can see if your oven is not heating due to a bad igniter or a bad controller is if you put your electric multi-tester, your meter, down at the terminals that come to the igniter, and you're looking for 110 volts. If you don't find that voltage, it's probably due to the controller is no longer sending it. So we're going to pull this modular connector off of the controller. We're going to remove 4 Phillips head screws that are holding it in. This, by the way, is kind of a simple controller. It's just a clock, and also it's doing bake, and it has a timer on it, but it's pretty simple. It just has a relay for the bake that probably is stuck in the off position. So we're taking out these Phillips head screws, and we're going to pull the controller off. We'll get the new one. This is such an old stove that they actually don't make the controller anymore, but there's a company that redoes the circuit board and puts new relays in. So we're going to peel the keypad off of the old controller. It's just on with some adhesive, so we're just going to gently peel back, get that one off, and then we'll place it on the new controller. Just some like double stick type tape adhesive that comes with it, and there's enough of this adhesive where you don't have to add any more. When you take off the touchpad and put it on the new controller, it'll stick. Just take your time here, make sure you line it all up, get it nice and even, and then once you get it where you want it, push it on nice and tight with some thumb pressure, and then you're pretty much done. All we have to do is put this new controller back on the bracket and add the 4 Phillips head screws that hold it into position. So probably 9 times out of 10 when you get an oven that won't heat, it's just a worn out igniter. Very seldom is it the controller, but every now and then the relay will kind of give up and it's time for a new controller. So we're just adding those 4 Phillips head screws back on the back of the controller to hold it. And usually these companies that redo the circuit board, what they'd like you to do is to remove your old circuit board and mail it to them. And usually for about $150, they'll redo the different components to kind of refresh it and make it new again. And they send it back to you, and then you reinstall it. So we got the screws back in. We're going to put the modular connector all the way back in. We're going to push it into where it's nice and tight, and then we'll put the back panel back on. Before putting the panel on, I'm just going to test it and make sure it's working. So I'll plug it back in and I'll set it for bake. If it's working, you should, when you set it for bake and press start, you should hear a clicking sound, and that's the relay clicking and sending power down. Set it for 350. Press bake again. I could definitely hear the click. And after about maybe 30 seconds, as the igniter heated up, I could hear the gas come in. So I know it did fix the problem. So now we can go ahead and add the panel back in there. So turn the oven back off. I think I'll set the time here too while I have it. Anytime you unplug it, you have to reset the time. There we go. So we're going to put the panel back on, and we have to kind of slip it into position, and then I'll put the screws back in finger tight, and then I'll zip them down with the 1/4 inch drive. These slide-in ranges are usually pretty easy to slide back and forth. Sometimes you have to lift them a little bit to get them started. Just always take your time. Realize that the gas line behind it sometimes is not long enough to pull the stove out very far. So just pull it out a little bit and then take a look at that gas line. Make sure you have enough room to continue pulling it without putting stress on the gas line. So I have it asking for bake now, and I can look in here and see the igniter glowing, so I know it's getting power. And then I can hear the gas flowing. I know that it ignited. Another way you can check is to pull out the broiler pan, kind of look up in there, and you should be able to see that nice blue flame. Yeah, there we go. So we know it's working again. So that did the trick. Just needed a new controller. So thanks so much for watching our video, and please subscribe when you get a chance. I hope this gets your oven going too.